This is a product review of the Sporty's JD-200 handheld radio. It features 760 different comm frequencies, 200 NAV frequencies, duplex so that you can listen to a flight service station on a VOR and transmit on 122.1. It's got a CDI with an OBS selector and a to from indicator. It comes standard with the rubber duck antenna, which you can see here, and an instruction manual. The instruction manual you can obtain online. I'll put a link to it in the bottom. You can read the entire manual. And what it does not come with, but I highly recommend you purchase, is a headset adapter, which is over here on the left. What this does is plug into the top of the radio and allow you to plug in your headsets directly as you talk in and listen on the handheld radio. If the electrical system of the aircraft fails and you're trying to use the handheld radio, it's going to be very hard to hear and to clearly talk for two reasons. One, the effectiveness of the radio is going to be diminished when you're inside the cabin of the aircraft, and for the second purpose, the noise of the engine is going to make it very hard to hear. Looking at the top of the handheld radio, we can see we've got the rubber duck antenna, we've got a key lock which will prevent you from changing frequencies, we've got the squelch, we've got the volume, and here we can see that I've plugged in the headset adapter. And like your headsets that you plug into the aircraft, the left and right adapter for ear and microphone have different sizes, so you can't plug it in backwards inadvertently. Looking on the left side of the handheld radio, we've got the button to release to get access to the batteries. It uses 8 AA batteries. We've got a button to push to talk, and we've got a light button which will illuminate the LCD screen and light up the keypad. We can see the recharging port here on the right side of the unit. Again, if you do not have the rechargeable battery pack, do not use this on your standard alkaline batteries. To gain access to the batteries, simply turn the handheld radio over to its side, press up on the battery release tab, and slide to the left. The battery compartment will then come out, which will then split in half and give you access to 8 AA batteries. Here we can see the front of the handheld radio. On the top we've got the LCD screen, which can be backlit. We've got the buttons 1 through 9. We've got a down button, 0, which also is the memory clear button, the up button, recall, memory, OBS, also all clear, and the clear button. Turning on the handheld radio is as simple as twisting the volume knob on the top right. You can hear the static right now because the squelch is kind of low. If I increase the squelch using the top left knob, that static will go away. And it can help if I change the frequency a little bit. There we go. So, in order to help see the buttons, I will press and hold the light button. Once you hear the beep, the unit will stay illuminated. I can change frequencies by hitting the up button or the down button. If I press and hold the down button, it will get into a search mode until it finds the next frequency of a suitable strength. And similarly, I can press and hold the up button. If your squelch is too low, you can press and hold the down or up button, and the search will terminate almost immediately. So if the search is not working for you, increase the amount of squelch. You will then find that it skips around much better. Now, you can also manually enter in a frequency by keying in the number. So here we'll try 117.90. So let's first get out of the search mode, so we'll hit the clear button. Now that the search is gone, we can put in the frequency 117.90. It now beeps That is a VOR. The CDI showed up momentarily, but it then flashed off, probably because we're out of range. When keying in a number, you should know that the third decimal place is never visible. So you'll only put in the first two decimal places. So here you can see if we put in the frequency 122.70 or 120.25, we are not able to access the third digit in the decimal place. However, the radio knows if the second digit in the decimal place is a 0 here or a 5 here, it will automatically make that third digit in the decimal place a 0. On the other hand, if the second digit in the decimal place is a 2 or a 7, 2 or 7, the radio will automatically make that third decimal place a 5. So if you're sitting there trying to get the radio and you start to worry that you're not able to manually key in that third decimal place, you have to understand that the radio is automatically doing that if that second digit is a 2 or 5, a 0 or a 5, or a 2 or a 7. To transmit on a frequency, just press and hold the push to talk button. You'll see that a little TX button appears next to the frequency in question. Note for the purpose of this demonstration that I'm inside a building and do not get any reception, so I'm not inadvertently stepping on anybody on the radio. Here I'll show you how to store a frequency. In this radio, you're able to store up to 20 frequencies. All we have to do is start by pressing and holding the memory button. Once we do that, we'll see that the numbers 00 appear on the top left. This means that we don't have anything stored yet in the radio. If we had, for example, 1 or 2 frequencies already stored, this index would automatically come on to the number 2 because 00 and 01, the first 2, had already been previously stored. Now, we can choose if we want to store this on a different frequency or different index by pressing the up key and we see the number increases, or we can press the down key. Since we don't have one yet, let's store it in 00. The next thing we'll do is press the memory key once again, and you can see it just flashed and went away. We have now stored it in memory slot 00. If I hit the memory key again, we now see we're at 01 because we just stored something on 00. But let's say I've changed my mind and I don't want to save this frequency twice. So how do I get out? Very easily, hit the clear button on the top. The little number for the index on the top left goes away and you're back into the regular mode. I'll show you how to recall a saved frequency from memory. All you have to do is hit the recall button, RCL, on the bottom right. This will cause the index to show up on the top left, and we can scroll through by using the up or down button to see which frequency we would like to recall. And as we change, we can see the frequency also changes on the screen. Because I've only saved so far 3 frequencies, 0, 1, and 2, it cycles through those channels. The remaining channels, 3 through 19, don't display. What I could also do is hit the frequency 0, 2. If I hit 0, 2, it goes to frequency 2. If I hit 0, 1, it goes to frequency 1. And similarly for 0, 0. Now I only have 0, 1, and 2 saved. Let's say I try to go to this memory location for 17. It beeps at me because nothing is saved there. It's an illegal operation as far as the computer is concerned. Now I'll show you how to clear frequency stored in memory. We'll start by holding the clear button and then pressing the memory button. We'll now see that memory clear appears on the top of the screen along with the frequency index. So now we can just change the frequency index by hitting the up or down key. So let's change frequency 2, which is at 119.05. To do this, we'll simply hold the memory clear button. The frequency has now disappeared. To exit this mode, simply hit the clear button once again. If we go to recall, we will see that the only frequency now is 0 and 1. 2 has been erased from memory. If we would like to delete all memory, we simply turn off the unit, hold the clear button, and turn the unit back on. It now tells us all memory has been cleared. I'm outside so I could get some reception. I'm now on the 115.10 VOR, which is the Baltimore VOR. You can see now that the course deviation indicator is now active, which is shown by the tick marks on the top here. The tick marks are spaced 2 degrees apart and gives you a variation of plus or minus 10 degrees. We can also see on the top left over here we have 132 with a T, or a 2 indication. If I hit the clear button, I get the reciprocal, which is the tree 1-2 with a from indication. We can also adjust the OBS course by hitting the OBS button and then hitting the up or down keys. Or we can manually enter in a bearing. So let's put in 053. So I'll hit OBS. It's flashing, and let's put in 053. And we're now at the 053, and we can see that the needle moved to the other side. We can also center the OBS by hitting the clear button, and that puts us on a 233 with a from. Now keep in mind, I'm not getting a good signal here, but this should automatically center the OBS. Last but not least is localizer frequencies. You can put in a localizer frequency just like a VOR. You'll get the bar on the top with the tick marks in the CDI, and in this case each tick mark will be a 1 degree difference, and the total span will be plus or minus 5 degrees variation off of center line. And the very last button, just to show you, is the key lock, and if we press the key lock, we cannot enter any function on the pad. So if we turn off that key lock, I can now enter in a new frequency of 117.90, which is the Frederick VOR, and it accepts it just fine. So this concludes the product review. Hopefully I've shown you all the functionality that this can do, and it will help you in picking out a radio that will suit your needs in the aircraft. Thanks for watching, and have a safe flight.